And we are back once again at the Jefferson College Fieldhouse on 1400 KJFF. This is the Jeffco Sports Report, and we're going to spend the first half of the show talking with JoEllen Stringer, volleyball coach and athletic director here at Jefferson College. And first off, Coach, I got to hand it to you and the team because it's kind of warm in here in the Fieldhouse today, but this is nothing compared to what you dealt with in August.
Oh, absolutely. It's mild in comparison. It's still irritating, though, because you're kind of ready for fall and you want the cool weather. So, but it's Missouri.
That's true. Talk about a good way to condition your team, also in here playing in the sauna.
Absolutely. Myself, too.
Well, let's talk about the weekend. You had a very tough tournament, a very good competitive tournament over at West Plains. You started off on a Thursday matchup with the West Plains squad, and you lose that one 3-2, a highly competitive matchup you had with them.
It was exciting. We didn't start out very strong. I think little nerves, home court, big crowd, typical experience. But then we started, gelling and started working a little bit, and we won actually. We lost the first 2 games and then won the next 2. Very good game. The 5th game, Thais went down with a sprained ankle, and I think that affected the play a little bit. But certainly the kids understand that they're in the ballpark with West Plains, and I think that, if we're playing well, we should be able to stay right on the course with them.
It looks like Thais is still favoring that left ankle a little bit today.
Yeah, he said that she really should stay off of it for a week, so we're trying to give her some time to heal. There's no sense in pushing it. Wins are not that important at this time during the year to take a chance on losing her for the season.
And so without her, is that one of the things that the team struggled with, trying to find consistency because people are maybe having to switch positions?
Rhythm, yeah, and in fairness, we had not trained an outside. We were so worrying about the middle and who was going to fill that second middle spot that we've kind of spent a lot of our energy there. And so we really haven't worked, knowing that whoever did not fill the extra middle spot, we probably would move to be in an auxiliary role to the outside. But we hadn't gotten there yet. So the timing of the accident was kind of tough because we really didn't have anybody, and we just threw Lacey in there, and she did a great job, but the team wasn't used to being here. They couldn't run some of our plays, so it was tough.
And you ended up losing 3 out of the next 4 in the tournament, but all to ranked teams. Miami-Dade, Arkansas Fort Smith, and Blinn, and your one victory came over a good program as well in Northwest Shoals.
Yes, I'd say, in fact, Blinn and Miami probably are 2 of the toughest teams in the nation, and I would not be shy about ranking them 1 and 2 with Miami on top. And you can't play teams like that without one of your better players and expect to be successful. But like I said, the kids did well. They held their own. They did some good things. We still have some kinks to work out. Blocking wasn't as strong as I wanted it to be. But a lot of the rhythm of the game was upset, and like I said, while we had moments of greatness, we did not consistently play. But that happens when you have an injury, and you just have to recover from it.
You talked about what the atmosphere is like when you go to play West Plains at their place. Does it pretty much continue through the tournament? They usually bring in some people and that kind of thing, good crowds?
Oh, yeah, their fan support their base is pretty high. And I think a lot of people come to that tournament anyway because of the level of play. It's like I talked to Lakeland's coach, and I don't think they won a match, and they were really frustrated, and so was Hutchinson, Kansas. But we all talked about the fact that when you go into a tournament like that you've got a lot of competitive volleyball, one right after another, and your kids are tired. But it's all growing, and it's all what you need to do at the beginning of a season.
It was 8 teams in 2 brackets, 2 pools. Is that how it worked?
No, actually it was round robin, but everyone didn't play. It was a fake round robin. Everyone did not play everyone. There was someone you didn't play. We did not play for Hutch, for instance, or Lakeland. So it was a partial round robin, I guess is the title. And
you did get Lakeland once already this year, I believe,
yes.
And you defeated them.
Yes, and we'll see Hutch at their place.
Okay, and they have a tournament as well that comes up pretty soon. Yeah, right. That's right. That'll be, in fact, your next big tournament.
Right.
That'll be just as fun and probably filled with just as many good teams.
Yes, and I think we might have our team set by then. Like I said, it's been a struggle trying to we've moved people back and forth, but I think pretty much barring injuries, I think we are close to a lineup now.
Tell us a little bit about Thais. Now that she's out with the injury, what does she bring to the team, and what are some of her strengths?
Well, she's a great hitter. But what someone might not realize is she was leading the team in digs. And so as much as we missed her on the front row hitting, we missed her most in the back row, in her digs and on her service reception. It changed Lacey did not play back row, so it changed our whole service reception pattern. And so sometimes whenever you take a kid that plays all the way around, they're so much harder to replace than someone that plays like specifically front row or has as a role player.
Like JoEllen is for
Correct.
the most part, sure. Yeah, when she's out there for every single rotation, she serves, she plays front row, she plays back row.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's very tough to replace,
Yes.
no question.
And she's pretty high in our categories of service aces. She's high in our category of digs and blocks, and so replacing her is a challenge.
And you got her to come in from Brazil, and
Yes.
you've had very good luck with some good players from Brazil in recent history.
Yes, she actually was placed here by University of Kansas. They called and asked me if we had a spot. They like to send people here. They feel like they'll get trained well and get a good academic base. So, yeah, she was placed here, just like JoEllen was placed here by Clemson University. So I know I'm not traveling to China and Brazil.
Well, I mean, that's what it all comes down to.
Absolutely.
Is contacts. Maybe not necessarily all the contacts you have in other countries, but the contacts that you have with Division I, because
Yes.
you've gotten some opportunities like this with kids in the past.
Well, and thanks to the kids that have left this program and done well in other programs, the IDAs, who go to St. Louis University and set a school record for kills, those kind of kids make people come and look for us and see, look for us to train kids and send them back to them.
Looking at some of the numbers from over the weekend, it was obviously another strong tournament for JoEllen and Becky Mann. They both led the way in kills. And boy, Becky is one of those players that really plays taller than she is.
Oh, absolutely. She jumps, reaches. She's just a really solid athlete. So, and she's another one that helps us all the way around the court. So she's a big part of this team.
And anytime you get a player like that comes from the county, it's just a bonus.
Absolutely.
And you have Brooke Boyer, you have Laura Passmore, and you're going to find more in the future.
Yes.
Or whomever
I know
is here.
that Ida's looking at some kids in the county now, and that's great because this is a good nucleus. It used to be really good, and then for a few years the county was a little weaker, and it just seems like it's getting a little stronger again, and it's nice. Absolutely great whenever we can have a player from this county. And Becky, she's not only good for this team, she's one of the best in the country.
Saw one of your former players just a couple of weeks ago, Erin Denton.
Oh, yes.
Who, of course, was recently married.
Married, yes.
And just seeing her out, I guess it was Twin City Days weekend, she was actually going to play sand volleyball as part of Twin City Days. She looks like she could come out here and suit up for you right now again.
Absolutely, yes.
But it's players like that kind of make it so much fun for what you do.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's like we're going to Terry Jo Edding's wedding this weekend, and that's the fun part about it, is seeing them grow. And I'm getting letters from kids, and they are sending me pictures of their children and everything. So it's really fun to, like I said, to do this and to have those connections, especially with the local kids that you can stay in contact with.
And Brooke Boyer from Herculaneum is another one that's been doing a pretty good job for you.
Yeah.
And you mentioned when we spoke to kind of preview the team how far she's come and how much better she's got.
She has. She's in good physical shape. She's one of our strongest blockers. And she hits right side, so her stats won't be real high because when the passing goes down, the right side sets go away. But she's real solid and puts up a really big block, and that really helps us. When she's on, it forces the opponents to hit someplace else, and that helps a lot. It takes a lot of their power shots away.
And Laura Passmore has been playing a lot on the defensive side of things, and she's from Windsor, of course, and she's another one that's really made leaps and bounds.
She is. She has started at least half of the games in the libero position, and we've moved around to left side and right side. The good thing about Laura is you can put her anywhere on the back row, so if we think our opponent is going to have a stronger attack, that we need her stronger on the left side, we can put her there. But yeah, she's worked really very hard, and is one of our strongest service receivers too, so that's good.
Are you starting to get a better feel for what Marcella is going to bring to the mix? She was the player, of course, for those that don't remember, she came late. You had already actually started your season
Right.
when she finally got here and arrived, and you took her right off the bat, you took her with you to Utah to compete in the tournament.
Threw her in.
Yeah, threw her to the fire right off the bat.
Actually, she's got one of the highest tackle percentages on the team. She's very effective on the front row. We need to work with her on a footwork pattern because we use it different, and sometimes she doesn't get the block closed. She's not a big girl, so she has to get closed and get there and get her feet set to get up high to block. So she's probably a better offensive weapon than blocking. And what we're going to have to do is, at first we thought we'd just put her someplace else, but now we've decided we need to keep her in the middle. We just need to teach her to be a better blocker.
And looking at just some of the stats from this past weekend at the tournament, Casey Ryder played every game that you were out there. Jennifer Elbert played every game that you were out there, as well as Kristen Smith, who played all but one game.
Yes.
So it's fairly obvious that a lot of these kids are being thrown into the mix right away, and,
yes.
they're responding.
Yes, in fact, everyone on the team played this weekend in some role or another, and that helps. That's big when you've got people that you have enough confidence in to pull them off and put them in different roles. And we have had different roles. Like I said, Kristen is our backup setter, but we've been working her on right side defense. She's one of our best passers. Casey and Laura have been battling out for that libero position. So, and we don't know who will win it out. We'll just give them a chance and let them go, whoever's playing the best at the time. So I think in the end, that will help us because I think we'll have two strong defensive players that have had a chance to do a lot out there on that court.
Inter-squad competition usually brings out the best, too, out of kids. You got a matchup coming up tomorrow. Lewis and Clark comes here. This will be a conference matchup.
Yeah.
Usually they're a pretty good program, too.
Yeah, they do pretty well. It's interesting. We used to have a lot of conference matches, and we don't anymore. We lost Three Rivers in the conference, so that was a Division I program that we played twice. So we lost 2 matches right there by losing Three Rivers. And the Division II teams we play only once. So within the past 3 or 4 years, we've lost a lot of conference matches and gone to 3 out of 5s. There are some good things about it. You travel less, but you don't get to play as many teams, and you don't have as many opportunities to play your entire squad. So I think that one thing we hope to do is be able to get everybody in the game tomorrow night. And
it's one of the things that you don't have to do that often is you're trying to schedule good programs to come in here because they'll be in here for the tournaments. You'll see them at other tournaments.
Right.
That's usually where you're going to play a lot of the stiff competition from around the country, as opposed to just doing a one-night road trip.
Right.
So that helps without a doubt.
Yes.
And a lot of teams you'll see more than once, like maybe a Hutchison or something like that.
Right. Yeah, whenever what everybody's trying to do is play the toughest competition they can. So you do see some of the same teams over and over again at different, for instance, West Plains will be at Hutch. We won't play them, but they will be there. So we're all gathering in pretty much the same neck of the woods.
And you'll get a lot of those good programs to come here, not only for the Invitational, but also for your Halloween Classic too.
Yes.
And some of those, may come back. Are any of those teams coming for both of those events that you're holding here? I think in the past you've had one or two.
Yeah, they're different. Eastern Arizona's flying in for our Invitational, and West Plains is coming up for the Halloween Classic. West Plains may be the one team that comes to both. We just don't play them in both.
Sure. And I know with West Plains you only get them officially once, I guess, on your schedule.
Yeah.
This year it was where you went there. That was last week.
Right.
You might meet up with them somewhere along the way in another tournament.
Right.
But,
if there's a playoff, and they're getting away from playoffs. And in fact, I just remembered that they're not coming back to our Invitational, so they won't be here. They'll just be at our Halloween Classic. But at one time we used to do pool play and then go into playoffs. And once we got into season now, you'll see volleyball's trend is to go to best of 5s. And so you find less matches, but longer matches. And so I think that the junior colleges are following that trend a little more closely now than they have in the past. And that's good for volleyball. It's really hard on the kids to play all day long, one time after another, and then you get a lot of injuries, overuse injuries.
Now, State Fair is going to be another team that you're going to play on Monday. You've already played them once this year. You went to their place. You beat them in 3 straight, but they were all pretty close. Yeah,
it was a very competitive team. They are a very feisty team, and they work really hard. They make you work for your points.
And as far as the region goes, I guess when that comes around, is it only going to be 4 teams? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Without Three Rivers, it's only 4.
Only 4 teams.
Wow. That's hard to fathom, isn't it? It really is.
It's amazing how it's, with the divisions, how it's changed. But it's like Three Rivers dropped out and East Central came back. So.
But they stayed at D2,
But they stayed in D2.
Yeah. So they'll be in there with Merrimack and some of the others.
And they should do
there.
very well. It's a good, solid program. I think they have a good coach. I think they'll do well.
So now it's only yourselves, West Plains, Mineral Area,
and State Fair
that are in the region. That'll be that's unfortunate, but then again, it's going to make it maybe even that much more difficult.
More competitive.
Absolutely, because everybody's going to be fresh and that kind of thing. Nobody gets that night off or bye or whatever the case is. As far as the athletic director duties go, what's new on that horizon? I know it's something that's always changing. In fact, when I arrived here today, you were working on a lot of paperwork with Debbie.
Oh, yes.
So that's always keeping you busy.
It is, especially like in the fall, soccer's going with their regular season. We're going with our regular season. Softball has their fall season, and baseball has their fall season, and basketball's getting started up. So it's probably the most active time of the year because everybody's going. There's no one that's idle. They're either in their preseason, off season, during season. So this place rocks. There's not a slow time.
No, definitely not, but it seems as though the fall is a little bit more busy than the others. I know the spring gets a little bit busy too.
Right.
Especially when you get some inclement weather.
About March, everybody's going. It's the same thing in March that happens like about now when everyone's going full speed and I think the difference in the beginning of the year is because everybody's getting their rosters, everybody's busy ordering equipment, you're making a lot of purchases and stuff, you're scheduling buses, and we got a new trainer, and that's awesome because now we have a trainer. We were hunting for a trainer. We have a new secretary, so there have been a lot of things going on in the last few weeks.
Gosh, goodness. I mean, everything's changing. And plus all the kids, in the fall are getting acclimated to their new classes and that kind of thing. So you combine that with the fact that all the programs but one, maybe basketball is really up and running, and basketball they're going
doing
now.
Individuals, and conditioning,
and they'll be starting their regular practices in October
1,
and that'll be when softball's still in the fall season, baseball's still in the fall season. You're in the heart of your schedule, as is soccer.
And absolutely.
It's, I mean, this place just gets.
It does, and that doesn't count
sometimes.
Continuing ed students or anything else that goes on, or community events. So this, like I said, this place rocks all the time.
No doubt about it. But seems maybe the fall a little bit more so than other times of the year. But still, it's. I know it's a lot of fun. I know you enjoy it. It's a lot of hard work, but it's also very rewarding at the same time.
It is. I know of no other job that you can dress like this every day and meet people. It's just a new day every time, and you get to move around and stuff. And I don't know. It's a very enriching experience. So I have no complaints. Just need a little more time, and that's what I'm doing with the transition. Is that's why I'm backing out of head coaching positions. I'll serve a support role, but with 5 sports that's going like this, I have to give it time and there's just no way. It's just almost impossible to do everything I need to do and still be head coach and do justice to that team. And they need that type of person that's got the high energy level. So, and it's a good staff that's going to take over. So I'm pleased to do that. But yeah, it's a busy time.
And I know Ida's been hard at work with the team. She's working with them right now as we speak. Is there anything new on that front? Because I know you made the recommendation for Ida to become the head coach. Has any action taken place just yet?
No, I don't know when the timing of that is going to be, but they certainly, everything will just go into place and steps. She's recruiting now and talking to people, so hopefully it'll move without a hitch.
Shouldn't be a problem, I would think. When you're going to hire one of your own, I don't see any reason why they can't go that direction.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a good staff. Corey's addition to the program has been excellent. Stephanie's always added a lot to the program. Like I said, her expertise in conditioning and training is great, and so it's a well-balanced coaching staff. So I feel like that's going to be, like I said, continue to, and maybe even greater things.
And the one thing that I'm sure that you and the rest of the athletic programs are looking at is how do you repeat the kind of year you had in athletics like you did last year? That's tough. That's tough to follow.
Oh, it is. But everybody didn't win a national championship, so there's always a level you can go.
That's true.
If everyone won the national championship and we had everybody make academic All-American and we had every team make academic All-American team, then we could sit back and say, yeah, that was pretty good.
Then you could say, yeah, we have nowhere to go but down now.
Right.
But when you look at it, everybody was a region runner-up if they weren't a region champ.
Right.
I think everybody was a conference champion.
Right.
And 3 teams made it past regionals. One
Right.
won a national championship. The other did make it to the finals.
Yeah, it's
so it was
ironic the
something.
soccer team didn't win the conference. I didn't realize that
Yeah.
until we started talking about it. I thought, well, no, wait a minute. You didn't win the conference, but you won the regionals and the nationals. But it's ironic, but they which makes me feel good because I know that they didn't start out real strong, and that always gives the other teams hope because I keep reminding our kids that, you know, the soccer team didn't start out without any losses, and they struggled a little bit in the beginning. They just put it together at the end, and that's what they need to do.
That's exactly what the baseball team did last year
Absolutely.
too. They were under 500 for a while, roaming around 500, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they got hot at the right time.
Right.
You know, your team was pretty much right out of the gun. You guys were off to a good start
Right.
last season, and you consistently stayed that way throughout. The basketball team, I mean, who would have fathomed what Coach
right.
Emmerich did in his first year?
Absolutely, yeah. And, you know, who knows if we hadn't had injuries with our setter, who knows what we could have done last
goodness,
year.
yes.
So,
Yeah,
but that's what
losing
it's all
Andrea
about.
was really hurtful.
absolutely.
Where is Andrea playing now, by the way?
California State,
Good for her.
yes.
California State.
Bianca's in Georgia Southern, and Caitlin is in Chicago State. You know, they're all doing well. I've talked to them all lately, and they're all doing well, so that's a good thing.
That's good. That's excellent. A lot of them playing D1, and a lot of them just having a chance to go on with their education. That's what it's about.
Yes, yeah. Amanda's down in a nursing program at SEMO, so they're all in school. All of our sophomores are in school somewhere.
That's what it's all
Yeah,
about.
that's our goal.
Well, Coach, we'll let you go. Thanks a lot for the visit.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
JoEllen Stringer. She's the athletic director and women's volleyball coach here at Jefferson College. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more after this on the Jeffco Sports Report on KJF.
You may not know their names, but the students who are helped through a Jefferson College Foundation scholarship carry thanks in their hearts. It's for the kindness that our contributors have shown. Make a difference in their tomorrows.
Education, the great equalizer. It doesn't just mean you get more knowledge, it means you improve your quality of life.
Give to the Jefferson College Foundation today.
Back once again at the Jefferson College Fieldhouse in Hillsboro on 1400 KJFF. This is the Jeffco Sports Report, and we're happy to be joined by the men's soccer coach here for Jefferson College, Coach Stephen Peck. How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good.
Team is off to a pretty good start, 7-2 so far on the young season, following up a national championship from last year, and so far so good, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're a young team this year, so we're taking a little bit of time to kind of find our identity, trying to get some consistency in the way that we play, and see what this team's going to be able to do this year.
It looks as though with the schedule that you played so far, you guys are obviously hitting it full stride and doing a good job. You've scheduled some good teams, and you've pretty much passed with flying colors thus far.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we started off going out to South Carolina and Georgia to play a couple of games, and the boys came out scoring 12 goals out of those 2 games. Returned home for that Missouri Junior College Invitational that I try to put together every year. We ended up playing Kansas City, usually a pretty strong team. Must have been down this year because we ended up winning 8-0. And I think that's where a little bit of the overconfidence came in. We step on the field against a ranked team. They come, a lot of energy, understanding what the implications of the game were. And we're able to get a 2-0 win against us. And I think that just showed our inexperience and not knowing when it was time to actually raise our game. We went on to win the next 3 games, 7-1, 9-0, and 7-1. And I think, again, they thought they were on to something, and then we turn around. We go to a team with a lot of heart, a lot of hustle, not necessarily more technically sound than we are, but they scored 2 goals, got up on us 2-0, and we just couldn't come back. You know, we scored the 1 goal, and I think it was a lesson for our guys that college soccer is never about who thinks they have the best team on paper, because I think some of them just assumed with who they saw here and what those individuals had done that we were just going to win games. You know, then we were able to get a good win against Johnson County this past Saturday, and now we're preparing for this Saturday's game and to play Forest Park.
Forest Park will be a conference matchup, of course. They should be pretty stout, I would think, and you follow that up with Merrimack, too, so 2 big ones back-to-back.
Yeah, I mean, our next 3 games are all in Region 16. The next 2 in particular are both Midwest Community College Athletic Conference games in Forest Park and Merrimack. Always strong teams because of the soccer-rich area of St. Louis. They're going to have guys that are going to understand the implications of these 2 games and come out and play hard. You know, so for us, it's not just a foregone conclusion that we're going to get 2 wins.
Are you kind of looking at the fact that, you know, after a national championship, probably a lot of teams are gunning for you? You know, you're going to have the bullseye on your back. Is that what you think has come about in your losses to Marshalltown and Lewis and Clark? Maybe not necessarily just the kids maybe resting on their laurels a little bit, but I mean, everybody you're going to face from here on is going to be pumped up to play. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, I think it's a message I've tried to get across to the players as the year's gone on, is that, you know, even though it is a situation where we still have to reprove ourselves, as far as other teams go, as far as the talks that the coaches are having with other teams, they're playing last year's national champions. And even though we're missing, you know, half of the guys from that team that won the national championship, people look at it and say, if we can beat this team, we can win a national championship. And I try to get them to understand that because of that, they have a target on their back and they have to play every game like it's the last one they're going to get to play.
That's exactly the way to approach it, no doubt. Looking ahead at your schedule, Coach, the Richland Showcase, that ought to be interesting. You're going to face some pretty good opponents there. Are you making the trip to Texas for that? Is that right?
Yes. The opponents we're going to face there, the first night, which is October 4th, they are now the #1 team in the country. The opponent we will face on the Friday night, October the 5th, they are currently ranked 7th in the country, and the team that we're going to face on the 7th, that Sunday morning, is the defending Division III national champions, and they won 4 out of the last 5 Division III national championships. So those 3 teams will really test the mettle of this team, which is the reason why it was important for me, knowing I was going to have a younger squad this year, to go down there like I did in 2005.
Wow, that's something. That'll be interesting when that comes around, and you just hope that the boys obviously do what it takes over the next couple weeks leading up to that, so that they're primed and ready for that tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting tournament, because I've seen some scores that have surprised me coming out of that area, and then I've seen some scores that I feel are atypical of the teams down in Texas. They always have strong squads. Whether a D1 or D3 doesn't really matter, because there's a lot of talent in that Dallas-Fort Worth area.
And I know, just looking at it, you know, San Jacinto, Tyler, and Richland are the 3 that you're playing. I know San Jacinto just seems to be good in every sport out there. It seems like they're outstanding every year in baseball. They're outstanding every year in soccer. They're outstanding every year in basketball. It just seems like they just have some kind of a powerhouse over there.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in a metropolitan area like San Jacinto is, where you've got 6 million people that live in the greater metropolitan area of Houston, that's a lot of talent to draw from. You've also got those individuals from the surrounding states and cities that are very, very good at sports, and that is where they choose to go if they cannot get into a 4-year institution, or that they just feel like that's where they need to start. They go to Houston, and that's the only junior college there that has athletics right now.
Well, that'll help, I guess.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Well, how would you describe the team this year, this 2007 season?
I would say it's a very deep team as far as talent goes. The big issues that we have are that a lot of the kids get a little complacent. They feel like sometimes when they perform well, it's because the other team wasn't as good, and they don't give themselves a lot of credit for the way that they play. The consistency that I always talk to my teams about just seems to be there for 2 or 3 games, and then it goes away. And there's no urgency every game, because more than half of the team is not from that national championship. And some of those guys are on the field game in and game out, and getting them to have urgency when they don't understand why there needs to be is the big challenge for the coaching staff this year.
You do have Claudio Dantas, who's back from last year, and looking at the numbers, he's already one of the top 10, I guess, in scoring in the nation right now. He's just doing what you probably figured he would do this year, and that's kind of dominate.
Yeah, and he got voted captain by his team members, and I think he's well deserving of that, because he has epitomized everything that you would expect in a returning player his work ethic, his camaraderie with the other players, his ability to be able to get them to understand why and how they need to play the game. And he has. He's gone about doing his business. Like he tells the players all the time, he doesn't worry about whether he scores goals or not. He worries about whether the team wins. It just happens to be that that's part of his job as a forward to score goals.
How about the freshmen? Are they coming along as nicely as you would have hoped?
Yeah, I mean, we have a very good crop of freshmen. We have a very good goalkeeper in Derek Santos that came in. For him, it's been a learning experience because having Jonathan here, who last year in the run for the national championship gave up no goals. It was a situation for him where he could come in, get playing time, be able to see somebody else who's already playing the position at the highest level that you need to play it at, and be able to learn some things from that individual that he can bring back with him for the next year. We've got a great central defender, a young man that came to us from Ireland, very skilled, very talented, very calm in the back. To go along with the two returning sophomores we have in the back, in Marcus Amorum and Anthony Bradshaw. We brought in a young man in the center of the midfield who's a transfer named Sam Winder, who's really filled in very nicely for us as like a defensive midfielder, a holding midfielder, to help us kind of solidify the defensive part of our game. Because that's what I most worry about is conceding goals, because if you don't concede goals, you can't lose games.
That's true.
And then we have some very nice attackers in addition to Claudio up top. We've got a young man named Shadi Harb and another one named Jesus Jimenez. We call him Mauricio because he likes his middle name better than his first name, who are also part of the top 50 in the country in scoring right now. So we have 3 young men up there. And as long as everybody stays focused on the fact that it's not necessarily about the individual stats, it's a team sport, and the team needs to succeed more than the individuals did.
So top to bottom, I guess you feel pretty good about the depth, that the attackers and the midfielders are just as good as your goalkeepers and defenders, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of depth. Even when we lost the game to Lewis and Clark, I had someone who, I guess he coached a couple of young men that played for Lewis and Clark, and he walked out to the bus with me, and he's telling me that he was glad he got to come to the game. It's like watching a group of professionals play on the field. It was unfortunate that we lost the game, and he said he felt like we had a really good team, just like the young man from Lewis and Clark told him we would have. And he said he thoroughly enjoyed it. He said, I know you guys are going to have a good season. He said your players are they're just phenomenal players, and he said your bench is just so deep, you don't lose anything when you substitute. And it's a big compliment coming from somebody who was there to watch the other team play. So taking all that into consideration, I try to make sure that the guys at least come into practices in every game wanting to win, wanting to learn, wanting more, and staying hungry.
Well, Coach, appreciate the time. Thank you very much for the visit, and we'll catch up with you again in the future, and continued success.
Thank you very much.
That's Steve Peck. He is the head coach of the men's soccer program here at Jefferson College. We're going to wrap it up today for the Jeffco Sports Report, and those on KJFF can stay tuned for a business spotlight coming up with Jefferson Memorial Hospital. That'll be up in just a few moments on KJFF.